There's just so much happening around us, and the whole concept of the disruptors is one that we will explore in today's edition of Sheri Says. Sheri has a lot to say, and we share space with two amazing gentlemen as we just have a veranda chill time talking about various issues of fundamental importance to us, particularly here in Jamaica as Jamaicans. You will glean so much goodness from this podcast. Can't wait to hear your thoughts, opinions, and your views as we look on the disruptors. We continue to disrupt the status quo. Here goes.
We are in the same environment. I'm training you to do something that you are now being paid for. And yeah, give me attitude. And yes, so Sean, since you know it, why you don't just do it? And the whole idea that you're being trained is totally lost on you. I had one girl, Jamaican Swiss, Ursula. Never forget this girl, big, tall, trapped in brown, high color Jamaican. And she made it very clear that her father is from Switzerland and that her part of her education was in Switzerland and all of the name dropping story. And when she had her work to do, she said, Sean, just hold the fort for me. May I run go smoke a cigarette? I never forgot her just because of that. And she never finished her year of training. Heaven knows. I mean, I guess she knew that her thing set out already for her, so she didn't have to put any effort into it. But I thought it was just such a waste of everything, waste of my time, waste of the company's position that them could have give to a more deserving trainee. It was such a waste. What's the bell?
I had
Now
one
she
of
came
the
in as a
most
trainee manager.
interesting final year group. Yeah, in college. I was doing my masters and MIS, and there are two guys in the class, brilliant, man. I mean, these guys shine like a sun. I mean, you know what I mean? You're like a candle now, shine no light against them. And they were just bright guys. But the level of arrogance that came with it was just overwhelming. So nobody in the, when normally the teachers would, arrange you in groups and so everybody pray to God so they're not coming at their group.
Oh, yes.
And me get the two of them. Me get the two of them. And
we're blessed and highly flavored.
Me say, people looking at me and say, boy, Steve, me glad I know me, but boy, me think I alone can manage them. Anyway, I had the fortune of having these guys in the group. And the guy, them tell me straight up, them say, look here, we have our honor, we're on the charts for honor roll, right? Meaning they get the degrees with honors. And they make it clear to me, say, if me come with any mediocrity, right, they're going to make sure that I get pummeled into the ground because I am not going to mess up what they have as a good thing going. So me and my other colleague who was, because it was four of us.
Okay.
And I ended up with two of them. But anyway, hear the joke now, no? When the man them started, we started out with PHP as the language that we're gonna use to design this program that we're putting together. It was an educational program where we could identify persons with learning disabilities and through artificial intelligence, right, machine learning, and they discovered that there was a preset program out there by a professor who had actually done an algorithm in JavaScript. Not JavaScript, sorry, in Java, right? Now, let me tell you, Java is not the programming language for the lighthearted. right?
Okay.
Because it's not that like your typical programming, right? You have to shift your mind in terms of understanding how it works. So
Mm-hmm.
we had at the time a lecturer that was terrible. Like, I mean, the worst. It's like the man pride himself in people failing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, because of that, we weren't confident in our skill level, some of us, to say that we were going to undertake that level of our degree of complexity using the language. I wasn't comfortable. So I said to them, look, if you guys going to use Java, I know do it, Me do the other task, but me not do that. you know?
Okay.
And they took me to task. So what they did was they decided to have me do the technical document, right? To prepare the technical document as my responsibility to oversee in the group. Now, the technical document would amount to you're having to create the user manual. You'd have to also create, the associated document in terms of, um, you know, the detailing of the theory behind what you're doing and what you're hoping to achieve, all of that,
So
right?
you get all the hard work. You get the hardest part.
Well, I mean, them
Or
do the
the
job,
bulkiest part.
them do the Java. So, I mean,
Okay. You get the bulk.
them I say, yeah. So anyway, they decided that they were not gonna help me. And that's fine.
Okay.
I assume that responsibility. But here what happened now? A good programmer would make sure that their program is properly commented, right?
Okay.
That way, anybody who is troubleshooting the application, if there's anything wrong, if they're not the author of the application, they can read the comments and know what function is related to what, and the variable related to what. Anyway, the man they write the program and put no comment.
Okay.
So me now, what have the technical document to write, have to understand that program inside out and then create the document.
Wow.
Anyway, I realized that the gauntlet was dropped and I took the challenge. And I committed to get help. And there was this genius that was working over by Mona Informatics. That guy was working on program for the Boeing 707. So you know them guy there, high level, right?
Wow.
And I got the guy's help, and the guy helped me to understand what the different components of the program was doing and all of that. That empowered me now to do what I was supposed to do actually, which is to create the documentation. So I went ahead and I got that done. And of course, suffice it to say, they were expecting me to fail miserably.
Which is
And
kind of counterproductive, achieving exactly what them tell you, don't make it happen.
Don't make it happen.
yeah, but I mean, really and truly, what they wanted to do was grind me into the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Because they would have been able to say, look at my track record. We've been doing marvelous up until we meet upon this, brother. Yeah. So obviously, anything that is subpar would naturally be exactly.
Right.
So that was the case that they were building. I mean, I tell you, say, man, me and God work through this thing. And when I produced it, man, the guy took his hat off to me. Not literally, of course, right?
Of course.
And he said, boy, I can't, is you do this? I mean, I said, yeah, I produced it. And I won his respect that day.
Okay.
This is one of two, Remember the other one? Well, the other one is still as arrogant as ever. And, I guess he is one of those guys that will never come around.
I guess they walked away with maintaining their honor roll.
Yeah, man, they did.
Which they wouldn't have if they didn't do
exactly
as an exception.
Because you see,
absolutely,
it's everybody in the team that had to make it happen.
Yeah. for sure, how these guys are so into themselves and nobody else. We were one of 3 projects at the end of the thing, the semester and all, where the school had their quote unquote center of excellence that they invited us to present overseas. Right?
Okay.
I don't know if you recall many years ago, the NCU students that had won this huge prize, and it came a lot of awards and thing came. You win like about 10,000 US when you go up against other university students across the Americas and so on. Right? So that was the program that we were supposed to actually go and present our thing. But of course, we are one of 3, and we would be nominated. In terms of the leadership of the Center of Excellence will choose which of the 3 to go off, right? Now, at the time, I only had a Canadian visa, right? I didn't have my US visa at the time.
Okay.
So I would not have been able to go, because based on the short timeline in terms of when we got the invitation and when the actual event was supposed to take place, there's no way I could have gotten a visa process at that time. So here what happened now?
Oh.
The man them look for me and say, them find a guy who can do it for me because he has a visa, and I must train the guy how I did my part so that guy can go up and present.
Oh, wow. And you had a short time for this, and you did it?
No. I told them absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. And my other colleague, whose voice would have been needed in making that decision, him said, "I'm lucky. If you're not going, I am not going." You understand?
There you go.
And so they know we're saying that I am selfish because I didn't opt.
Oh.
I mean, I said, wow, do you guys even understand what that means? Yeah. Selfish because because me can't go. Me no want the project to go forward. So me selfish.
That's right.
Well,
it take all time to get this thing, eh?
Yeah, man. And them even they want to buy out the project from if you make it in our own business.
I was about to ask if I never think of converting it now into a doable event.
Yeah, it could have been, but because of the personality that they are, I'm not going to no business with them.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
And of course, they couldn't manage it as it is without you.
You talk about narcissistic, man. Trust me. The highest level. I've never seen anybody like them.
And they exist, them all over.
But the reason why I raised, I'm bringing that story to the fore because what was lost on them, I believe, and I said it in many different forums, that I know one paper giveaway.
True.
Or 2, well, only them I go loan, I go get it. So that's the first thing, right? In the real world, nobody I go ask you if I honors you get, or if it is scrape for pass.
I was always very curious about that, the way them work themselves up over it. I always wonder about it.
And if you mention it, you might lose it.
And cum laude and all of them wonderful, whatever it even means.
Yeah. And you're right. If you mention it, then I go take you.
First, you're arrogant, you're arrogant, you're ignorant, you're going to feel like you're too good for the job, too big for the job. How can you be too big for the job when you're looking to get a job to get paid?
You see? You see how that's where I come with it? We still have to flesh that part out again, the overqualified with Steve, but they just touch on it.
Yeah.
We really have to talk about it because you break the person's spirit I remember the last interview I went on, I swore that I would never apply for another job in my life after that. The lady said to me, "You've done too many different things. You're all over the place. We can't hire you. You don't have a focus."
Mm. You know,
because everything that she has done help her to have this very successful business.
yeah, and you know what? It's an unfortunate situation. Let me tell you why. Them think according to the domain, right? Not thinking that the skill set that you have learned more than likely are transferable.
Mm-hmm.
No. Here's the problem, Steve. You see, let us say that person is management and she hired my mother. In a few years, she'd be redundant and my mother will take over her position. You're not going to hire somebody who you know in a matter of months or a year or two will take over your job. Certainly, there's no doubt.
I mean, I left that interview with tears in my eyes, because the lady, I felt as, you know how I felt? I felt like I was dough, that somebody got a big rolling pin and just roll me over and then reverse and roll again.
Hey, me know them feeling there, you know. Hey, let me give you one joke. I went to a certain airline. Now we call them name. And it was supposed to be a reservation post. You know the reservation desk? Where
yes, ma'am. At the entry level.
Man, I go take up reservation desk, right? I mean, that's so cute. No. Hear the joke. There was this nice, well-kept young lady, you know, and she was out in the lobby waiting with me to be called in for the interview. And when we were there lavishing away and stuff like that, you know, we had a good time on the outside while we were waiting. So it kind of allowed us to be relaxed, right? When she went in ahead of me, they called. And we were ones that shortlisted. So obviously there weren't a lot of people around. And I don't know for what reason them shortlist, because like your resume, me all over the place. But anyway, probably because it's entry level. So I went and I sat there and I could hear the walls. You can't hear audibly what they were saying, you know, but you can hear the resonation of the voices through the walls. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, of course.
And I be laughing me out here, you know. I mean, I said, wow, that interview seemed to be going well.
Oh, yes.
And when she come out and think, you know, the girl said to me, say, wow, you know, it was great. You know, all the best. You know, that's a kind thing to say, because she really
want the best. Of course.
She really want the work. She just tell me all the best. I say, yeah, man, thank you. So after a few minutes of them, I guess, you know, discussing what was about the interview, and it was time to call me, you know, they've done their deliberations. And I went in. So I go inside and I realized the first thing, a pure man.
Oh, and she was good to look at.
Yes, so I said, note to self. That explains a lot.
Yes.
So of course, no, I'll be a stone face, me I feel it. And the man, them take me through the routine and ask me questions that are typical, you know. And of course, the part where get me now, and when them ask me the question. So I noticed that you do not have any experience in this field. Why should we hire you? You know what I mean?
It's at a short list, why?
All right. So you know what? You know me get irate now, you know. Of course, me can't express it, right? have to be rather professional. So but I'm sure they could have heard it dripping all through my tonality. And may I tell you, I said to the man, look here, if it is that I have no experience and no one will take that chance, with me. How on earth will I ever acquire that experience?
$1 million question.
Seriously.
So
Just out of college, and I'm applying for an entry level position, and I'm supposed to have 3 to 5 years experience. Or the hell will get 3 to 5 years experience if I'm just leaving college. Like seriously.
So me said to the man, say, so when me ask him that, of course, me see the eyebrow then reach the head top, right? like how dare the audacity of this youth to come ask me that, right? So of course, me spin it and say, well, this is your opportunity to break that chain.
That's correct. Boy, you're bad. I could not have said that.
Of course.
Well, maybe I would have.
After the man them clean up the conversation and work with me through this thing, I realized based on the questioning and how they were winding down that me not get this okay.
Them probably did not confirm the girl. Them just go through the motions.
Yes, man. So the man said to me, say, do you have any more questions? No. Do you have any questions for us? Was the question that he asked, which is normally when you're wrapping up, they ask you that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So me know like an idiot, take out the piece of paper out of my top pocket and open up my paper with my list of questions.
Oh, Jesus!
Me say laughing spoil.
Oh, Jesus! Right in your face.
The man them laugh. The man them said, the man take out paper.
Because you're still thinking the run-ins.
Yeah. So the man take out paper. Literally they said the man take out paper. Them laugh. Me say, yes, me have questions. I'm gonna ask them.
So like, probably say, what kind of interrogation interview this?
Take your moment, your 5 minutes of fame, yeah?
Yeah, man. Me say, remember this thing I go both way, you know. I have to find out if you are right for me as well.
God forbid. At the time that them know, so them don't want you.
Hey, let me tell you, that's right. You know why I do that? Because I know me didn't get the work.
Exactly.
I know it done a long time. I might as well have some fun with it.
Of course.
Then they probably say, yo, why this youth not left at lunchtime now, you know, so by the time you got me at break time, you can't deal with this right now.
Boy, may I tell you, I don't know if they will ever remember me, but I know say
there's no way they could
they're not gonna forget you. Oh. Every time I say, remember the youth they pull out the paper out of the pocket and all we were asking was just out of courtesy.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to say, no, that's all. Or forget about that chair and leave.
No, man. Because by this time, you know, I had done like about 50 interviews, you know. I try to look like a work, you know.
You see it. They don't understand. Look here, man, if we're not talking about nothing else, we need to talk about this. And it doesn't have to be the overqualified. It might just be the interview. Because so many hearts are broken, so many dreams are dashed. You know how much things happen in our interview?
Yeah.
They destroy you. You don't want to do it anymore. It's like you bare your soul. And they believe that them have the right because them invite you in a them chair. Them have the right to trash you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm wondering if them have them grievance and them just look for the young person for just you know mutilate you.
Funny.
Yeah.
I know. I thank God for my experiences because what it has done is shape the way I look across the table at the person coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
This motivates some people to go on and create some amazing products and businesses and all of these different things that they wouldn't have had the impetus to do if they didn't have these heartbreaks in like interviews and stuff.
Look here, Jamaica have this thing about us where we instead of invite people, we say prove yourself.
Exactly.
You know? And you see it coming out in the interviews. Because why on earth should I go through an assessment process where I have to do a written exam And after I've done the written exam now, I have to face a panel of people fielding questions that they're throwing at
and you want sit down on your side with them whole heap of people on the other side. And all of them staring at you with dagger eyes and it's a I would really like us to do this and really dissect it.
Then here they don't know, no. You go so now and you say to yourself, say, all right then. Me pass the written exam, which means to tell them, say, remember no, me already pass all of my exam, I do my degree and my certification them, which should say that I am technically proficient, right? But then I come and I have to do a written from you too. And then now, after having gone through that phase, you'd want to think that the interview is about getting to know me and determining whether or not I'm a fit for your environment. Right. But no, you're going to kill me with technical question again. And if me don't know something, I feel fool. I feel like I let down myself and the school where I come from.
That's not. It's just wrong. It's wrong for every level, you know.
Yeah.
And I just think that Jamaica on a whole, they thrive in making people feel less than. Overall, in every aspect.
And you know why I say let us rubbish the thought? Because if, as we have said in you know, like we discussed earlier, we say whatever we have acquired from college or high school is dated, right?
Yes.
Why on earth do I need to go through the process of being tested that way again?
Again, the job after me do it already multiple times.
Yeah, right? Because think about it. When I come into your place of employment, you know, I forgot to train me.
Exactly. So what is really the purpose of the interview?
What's the point?
What is an interview?
So what that for? What that for, really? Shouldn't it be about us finding out if this person is a fit for my culture?
That's right. That's right.
Then I groom him, educate him, teach him, or her, of course, right?
So they miss so too many times they mishire because the person who would have changed the trajectory from the company taking 10 years to be profitable and bring it down to 3 years. You never hire him because they never put a write on paper. Like why?
You see, Desiree, I wasn't here when you and I were talking about that, remember, with the 1 year thing? See, but he wasn't here, so there you go.
It's like
you sacrifice. Let me say what? You're sitting under your nose to save your face.
Spite. Take off your nose to spite your face.
Spite your face. That make no sense.
No make no sense.
And you lose for every handle.
And then that person turn around and go create a successful company, probably in your same sector. And it's like a Google. It's like a Google. After Yahoo now by them, made Yahoo obsolete. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's
is
like,
it
it sounds familiar.
And now me I make 100 times from just one sector of my business. And you get buy up by one company where they just buy it because they could have buy up. And you're dead and may I thrive.
Same thing with Kodak. They got the opportunity and missed it.
Kodak, what?
With converting to digital, now you have made the conversation. Or may somebody else? Kodak, the film people.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and then Canon and Sony and them come
right overrun.
Yes, that's true. Same thing with Polaroid. Polaroid was a thing, and I said, I don't think it's gonna change. Motorola and BlackBerry, same thing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy a phone with a touch screen. How stupid is that? iPhone is one of the biggest. Apple's one of the biggest companies out there.
And I remember when I was in Windsor. Well, I was in Waterloo, just by the BlackBerry factory, because that's where I lived. And they were having something with iPhone and Steve Jobs and whatnot, and they were heckling him basically. You know, them time that they had the Jobs. The iPhone was a thick phone, you know, and BlackBerry was in their element, you know, and the Canadians were like up there. They're like, you know, finally the world is gonna see that Canada can produce excellence. And it was one big thing on Waterloo, and it was, the bragging rights were up there, man. And I was so surprised when I came back to Jamaica and I see the demise of BlackBerry. I was like, what are they saying now? And Apple was like just going crazy.
Yeah. And they were wanting to keep the application to themselves, right? And by the time they decided to make BlackBerry as an app available on Android, it was too late.
Too late.
Oh,
exactly.
that's what happened.
Exactly.
See that?
Yeah, it was too late.
And that's why Google is doing so well, because it's crazy because you have the apps, you have the Play Store, you're making hundreds of millions, you're making billions from the Play Store, you're making billions from allowing other companies to use the Android platform, you're making 50 billion from YouTube. It's like they were what all of these others who were before them should have been.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure Desiree don't know what is Alta Vista.
What is who?
Alta Vista.
That was a search engine before Yahoo and Google. Yeah, well, you know, Google.
Me barely know about it. Me, it's just buck up me, you know.
Yeah, Google was a disruptor that just, you know, totally mashed that up.
So see, we need to do one whole presentation on the disruptors.
Yeah.
You see how much different presentations we have? I think, listen, you and I can create a huge space. Well, all three of us can. Desiree, I think you might go worm my way out of all of this. There's so many things, because you know what I have found, particularly as I have watched Desiree learn from all of these people on all of these different platforms. You know, so Jamaica have no brain tank, no repository, no what you want to call it.
Like a think tank.
We don't have no every stats that's quoted, it's from another place and time. You see, like how we jumped into the JMB story as our point of reference for culture, you know. When you know, this every time we have to make reference, it has to be outside of our country. What happened?
Yeah, we don't have no, so we can't say the survey was based on.
I think it's because it's not that the stats don't exist. I think it's that it's not being paid attention to.
Oh, we know it exists. We know it exists.
And the thing is that one of the and I mean it's from a macro level, it's kind of really like that from long time. So everybody kind of take off of that example and just work with it. And I'll give you an example. The government wants to enforce more tech farms, right? But their idea of tech farms is call centers, right? BPOs, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, laughable for sure. Right? Yeah, it's very laughable, right? But that's their idea. And we know this because even before this government was in place, the previous dispensation where that government had run for 18 years, they had bought out the whole of Goodyear factory in St.
Oh, yes. I remember.
$40 million, right? To say that they're creating a tech square, a tech center down there. And that's what they had in mind. That's what they had in mind, right? Obviously, you know where that went because the place is still there locked up, not doing anything.
And you would wonder now with fiber optics and all of that, and that big old space available, the BPO people them still look space to expand. Exactly. Hint.
Right? So there are no more things. But why I raise that is because I honestly believe that when we are looking at statistics, we're focusing on the things that can make we look good on the front page to the wider world, using the macro example with the government. So these BPOs serve the purpose of making our numbers as it relates to employment look good. As the Prime Minister had said that, you know, the percentage has never looked this good in 20 odd years, like 26 years, right? So his government obviously is doing great. But how does that transfer to the rest of the country? All right, so let me answer that. When we're looking at the FDIs, the foreign direct investment, I don't believe that those are the best foreign direct investment for this country, because when we look at what it is that they're producing, as Desiree had just said, customer service for external companies, right? The Amazons, the gateways, those big companies, right? They are the ones who are benefiting. But the monies that they spend for the service do not hit the shores of Jamaica.
At all.
At all. Right? So the only thing that we benefit from is the number of persons being paid their salaries come here. That's it.
Well, the sad thing about it is that COVID is a very, very good level of that playing field, because at the drop of a hat, it can be cut off.
That's
and
it.
then like a phantom disappearing in the middle of the night, it ceased to exist, then what?
Yeah, but I want the reason why I raised that particular example, because I could have cited the hotel industry as another example, which you can speak to very well. But I raised that one because I've been a technical officer in that we call it domain for a while, for 4 years actually, right? So I saw the inside workings of the company, and what I can tell you, I've worked with 3 of those companies as a technocrat, and I can tell you that for sure, the transfer of wealth don't happen at the bottom. That's for sure, right? And the expatriates, those are the ones who are running those companies out here, not the Jamaicans. So therefore, if they should lock shop tomorrow, can a Jamaican go and open another BPO tomorrow? There are few who can, for sure.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, but I'm saying there are far and few between in terms of people understanding the intricacies of running a business like that, which means that Jamaica can benefit greatly if we can take that model and transfer it somewhere else for ourselves.
Right. And we're always the end user. We're always the fulfiller of. We're always we're never the creative genius behind it. We're never the one who can command the $1 million US salaries. We're never the ones who negotiate our worth.
You're told what to do and how to be, and if you don't do it, then
you're dispendable.
Yeah, let me raise something that I'm sure you're familiar with. There's a particular company, a hotel in Ocho Rios, that was doing heavy refurbishing, and it created great rows in the country because Jamaicans were complaining that they could not participate in the construction activities because these persons were importing Spanish people. Do you know of that incident?
Of course, everybody know.
Okay. So, where the transfer of wealth there? And when I say transfer of wealth, please understand that I'm speaking broadly. I'm not talking about money solely. I'm talking about learning capacity.
All right,
Jamaica doesn't want the wealth.
Let me show you something. Okay, fine. You're just talking about a hotel being refurbished. In Genoa, Italy, you have Fincatori. You've ever heard of that? Fincatori is a shipbuilder. They're over 100 odd, if not more, years old. And they're the ones that build a lot of these cruise ships. Now, I can't tell you, I know the ins and outs of Fincatori, but what I can tell you is that a huge percentage of the people who build the ships, wonderful ships that sail everywhere, from steel cutting to the float out to delivery, are people from Genoa. Some of them are Europeans who have come in because of their specialization or whatever. But my point is, it's a shipyard. They are getting contracts from ship companies all over the world. They are retaining the skills in that area because there's always another contract. The inflow of income, capital, the entire city maintains a livelihood from the effect of that shipyard. Now, if COVID didn't shut down Fincatory, then nothing else will. So my point is simply this. Even though people might say, oh, Italy is the tourism capital, Mecca, blah, 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 the monies were still being made in Italy because cruise ships were on order and they were still shooting to make their deadlines. Now, to make, I think it was, which of them was it? It was 500 million. Billion? Was it billion or million? Norwegian, yeah. Norwegian was the ship before the Encore. I think it was the Bliss. Let's say 500 million, fine. And I think that was it. If you're going to have a ship valued at 500 million to build in Genoa, Italy, where you think the bulk of that money going to stay?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the difference between that project, remember, you know, is a foreign company, contract the work.
And why does everybody want to build their ship there? There has to be some reason.
Exactly. Why have they perfected? Because there is Germany, there is them in Italy, there is France. Those are the three big shipyards that I know of that most of these
let's answer that question this way, Desiree. Would you want to do, if you were in severe health and you let's say you had an aneurysm or something like that, and you're going to do a brain surgery, you want a general practitioner in the head?
No, the neurosurgeon.
There you go. So when you have the people them refining their skills over these many years,
that's all they do.
You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly, because those who work on the keel, that's all them do. Yeah. Those who work on the cabin, that's all them do. Those who are lighting our fixtures, that's all them do every day long.
And there's so much of that one thing to do. It's not like it's done, what's next.
Yeah, it's like a conveyor belt as much as it's a ship. I mean, there are these contracts that you have to go line up because one ship is in there being built. You know, you have another shipyard who, because of the volume of work, them had to build one other side so that them could be working on two ships instead of, you know, gone are the days when you get one contract to build one ship, which is normally 1, 2, 3 year endeavor. No, you need to have one other side of the shipyard. You have to extend. You have to make artificial river kite of a certain part of the building of water. Because the amount of business will come your way, you cannot have ship a line up, contract a line up, or wait and deadlines.
As in the amount of time.
And there's a monetary value to stay within budget and to come in on time. And early.
Come in early, get a bonus.
Yeah.
So one of the things that bother me, Steve, and this is even yesterday, that's another story for another time, but with Jamaica dragging them foot on home porting, anybody who know me and whatever, them know said that are my heart and my passion. The little things that people are discussing and arranging in no time flat because it's common sense. Jamaica make it look like it's a mammoth endeavor and we are on the cusp of greatness, and it's such an amazing thing that we were able to do this.
Yeah. And it's this is how we have done things all along. that is getting in the way. You see, we have been talking about disruptors, right? And it's the same concept that has kept us stumbling over ourselves. You know that we call it Trinidad, oil is a rich resource for them, right?
Right.
But they not depend on that alone. When during the years when we are full self and take light the resources that we have, they were actually retooling themselves. And that's why today 60% of the stuff with the on our shelves are from Trinidad.
Exactly.
So they have created another industry that is equally as can supply and sustain their GDP. You get what I'm saying?
That's right.
And we are or have been in a situation that is similar to theirs because we were depending on bauxite, and like them, our bauxite is a non-renewable resource. They know that oil is a non-renewable resource. Correct. So they have to come up with a plan that what other industry can we create, you understand, to sustain our economy. You know what I mean?
And better still, use the energy that them have to create these other industries, since you always say, oh, production takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, okay, and that's primarily why they can do better than us. That's why they have 60% on their shelf, because the cost of energy is cheaper for them.
Exactly.
Right?
But we will sell out all of our substance, all our raw material, everything that has value. And then we go buy it back at an elevated cost.
Yeah, which is I see something playing out like for years now. What we've been doing, because things cost us so much to produce, it's cheaper for us. Did you know, Desiree, that we used to make rice here?
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, I've actually been at a rice mill in Spanish Town. The bus park that is in Spanish Town right now was a huge rice mill.
Yes, the bus park. We right out of Spanish Town. Where you go to the bus park?
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I remember. Right, the train station was behind it. Yes. Yes, because I was just going to say to Steve, when I was a child, I knew of several factories. I knew of zinc factory.
Yes.
I knew of the same Goodyear factory.
Yes.
I knew of the poly something factory out
Garment factories, yes.
We had factories in Jamaica.
Yeah.
There was an entity called Factories Corporation. I don't know what them about. But we had factories. Does I know any factory in Jamaica? See it there? And we had many sugarcane factories. We had Alcan, Alpart, Reynolds. We had look here, man. The Jamaica I grew up in was a very productive place.
Yeah, so the evolution is an evolution still, because let's face it, I think Siaga in his time thought that factories was the way to go, because the education level of many of our working class was not in a place where they could facilitate higher level services, right? So I think that's primarily why he pushed, because again, that works with the statistics that they produce to say that employment is at an all-time high, right? Because the numbers that the factory produces is quite high. But I think the call center is equivalent to that.
Okay, well, yeah, with less muscle and more.
Right, less brown and more brain.
There you go. That's it.
Right. So we just shift. Because
I guess now everybody at least have some sexy.
And that's a perfect example of not needing like higher education. Because in fact, we're going to train you anyways to do it exactly how we wanted to do it.
That too, but don't forget what you're going to say, Steve. But I still have a little challenge, because when I go to Canada, I still see Walipa factories.
Yeah.
And that tells me that irregardless of your ability, everybody can do piecework.
Mm-hmm.
And piecework will always
and
exist.
Piecework will always exist.
China.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, everybody can get one minimum wage, a livable wage.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, what makes the livable wage livable is that the inflationary environment will go down, because when productivity increase, inflation decreases.
Right.
Which means that your dollar that you earn has more spending power. So even if you're earning a little bit, it still can stretch a farther way to make you have a decent life.
That's it.
Right? So they're all intertwined. You understand? And while I was making the point that the garments factory and the even the hotel industry in part is kind of guilty of that, in terms of just adding up numbers for employment and very little transfer into the country. There are countries that have used the foreign direct investment to their benefit to enrich their people, their country. And you look at Costa Rica as an example, where the president fly in a helicopter, go over there, go negotiate with Cisco and beg them to come and say, please come on my country.
Okay, Cisco.
Yeah. And right now, 1/3 of their GDP, a Cisco.
Okay, all right.
Right? Probably more than that. No, I don't even know. You probably need to check recent statistics. But
because I discovered that Costa Rica is like in the last 5 years, them just emerge.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you have a Cisco in Costa Rica, what do you think is gonna happen? In other words, to facilitate Cisco coming, they had to open up like about 5 different universities. Think about that. You're creating a country of smart people.
Okay.
So
have infrastructure for them to come to.
Yeah.
Like infrastructure.
And I mean, you're not talking a simple output from university. You're talking about clean room environment. You understand? The building and creation of microchips. Come on, you know what I mean? So if Cisco pack up and leave tomorrow, them good, them all right.
Yeah, because
the last effect will always be there because of what was created.
You see, back to the human capital and infrastructure.
Yeah.
Because in all honesty, our foreign direct investment don't come with anything much in terms of what they leave.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a set up thing, and then it's time to leave it and just pick it up and move with it. Nothing stays.
Nothing stays.
Yeah.
But even the hotels, if something should happen and the hotels close, and I've seen it happen in Spain, you end up with these giant mausoleums on the beachfront. And that's it, and they're not even convertible.
Because that would have been Palmyra if
that would have been Palmyra is a wonderful case in point.
Come and take it over.
When Jules took it over.
Right. Because when the Palmyra project went belly up, it was going to be a white elephant,
And how much Jamaican people would have needed housing? Why they never reconverted it? Jamaican people have housing like seriously.
Yeah, so
But to prove your point, Steve, is the same thing with sandals. When sandals goes into these different countries, then say if you don't follow these stipulations, you can't stay. Like Turks and Caicos, you have to hire a certain percentage of Turks and Caicos people, and the country decide which currency them people get paid in. So when I hear all of these Jamaicans talking about sandals, why they must pay everybody else in US and Jamaicans in Jamaica, I say, but that's not sandals' fault, that's the government fault. Because the government come out tomorrow and say we pay Jamaicans in US, they have to pay Jamaicans in US.
But I tell you something even more interesting, because when I am doing even tax returns, TJ, everybody have a problem with my business. I mean, my business model is so far-fetched to take way too much time to even try to understand it. So TJ says, your income, they asked, so the income was what? Let us say 1,000 US. Yeah, but we in Jamaica, we don't deal with US. Yeah, but my income was 1,000 US.
Yeah, you have what income was something.
You know, and that is where the challenge starts. Okay, my income was 1,000 US. Yeah, but we now need to go to BOJ's website for that date to see what was the exchange rate, and we have to calculate the exchange rate and convert it to Jamaican, and now we can proceed. And I'm saying to myself, but don't we live in a dual currency environment?
Why do Jamaicans have US credit?
I'm not saying that I need to pay my taxes in US, but even if I did, why is that not even doable? You know, why is it that you're skinning up your face because the person comes and says, but this is a US dollar generating business? Why you want me right away to start feeling like I'm what name? That's him something there.
Yeah.
You want me to, you literally me come to pay my tax and you want me to feel bad that my income was generated in the wrong currency.
But what if there was that archive at BOJ? What would we have done then? You would have had to check the thing in US. Why can't we check it in US?
So it's just a little stupid thing. I call them stupid. I don't know if you think I am being.
Yeah, but is that bias to you because there are so many huge conglomerate companies that are in the US and then get the taxes. Them is because of who you are and your size. If you were this big thing, because JMB great, everybody have a US dollars. Like seriously?
Yeah.
What's it?
I think one of the challenges, and I'm going to make it very personal. I shouldn't have had what I have. It was wrong. I'm the wrong color. Wrong gender. What else wrong with me? Wrong with class. What? Wrong with?
That's a whole can of worm right there.
Somebody told me that if I want the business really to succeed, I need to find a white face to put at the helm. Even if them not have no sense, just find one white face.
There is that thinking, unfortunately. But more what I have come to discover, Sharon, that a lot of that thinking resides with persons of the same hue as you and I.
So what is wrong with my hue? Is me paint me?
No, is we can identify with ourselves. We have this tendency. Think about it. Remember the whole back. All right, let's use history. Bakra was not white, Bakra was one of us.
That's right. He was the supervisor out in the field.
In case most people didn't know that.
But him don't act like him a part of us. He got empowered. He got empowered by the white man. But Bakra House was still on the plantation. It wasn't up in the Great House.
There you go.
Yeah, that house.
Yeah, but still, Bakra was still a slave,
He was still a slave.
Bakra was still a slave. It's only him, and the slaves never believed him was a slave.
Because beating us is the closest he will ever get to being white.
Yeah.
And that is core Jamaica.
So you heard what he said? Beating us was the. Say that again, Steve.
Eh?
Say that again. This one never get it. Want to hear it.
Beating us was the closest he'll ever get to being white.
Wow.
Yeah. Because Bakra still couldn't look on the plantation owner that time. So if Bakra could not get the plantation owner daughter.
Bakra is not white.
No, Bakra Masa is one elevated slave.
Bakra is an African.
He's an elevated slave. What he has done, they have empowered him.
Yeah.
To keep us in check. That's his job.
They empower him to keep us not empowered.
So maybe
hold on there. Do you think that the JCF was designed to protect us when it was conceptualized?
I guess not.
Tell us.
It was designed to protect those of the light. What do you call it?
The lighter variety.
Because
I take back my top. I don't want to call them lighter because they're not light.
No, isn't the Jamaica Constabulary Force? Look on the emblem. Isn't it the Queen's Force?
Yeah. So in other words, it was there to protect the expatriates that came here under the Queen's name.
Against us.
Yes. From us. Protect
So
them
when
from us.
we call the police, them not really supposed to in that scheme of things. Their first response is not to us. They're not our first responders.
You understand? You understand that, right?
Yeah.
I want to wheel like a Paul Bogo, you get me?
Of course. Has to be. We know that because the thing is the black person is the dirty work person.
Mm-hmm.
So the white man or the lighter person stepping on them high horse and then just put the task and tell us, "Sir, you go do this, you go do that." That's nothing strange. That sound. It would have been more strange if it was a white person who did like a walk.
Yeah.
That sound more strange to me.
So even in my own family, we have always had that color divide. It is so prominent that it's ridiculous because I tell you this, growing up, they used to tell me something, I barely make it on the color scale because I'm very dark now. I was red. So I was weird. I couldn't be classified. Some of them did black and the rest of them did, colored. And I was red. So I wasn't fitting in quite well. But I had the colored eyes and I had the redness, and then I got have the little brains on top of it. So barely squeezed through. And that was interesting.
Yeah, that's right. I think I shared this with Sharon before. I went to Half Moon once, and going down for breakfast one day, I was approached by one of the waiters to ask me, where will I be sitting to have my what do you call it? Conwa?
Wow, your continental breakfast,
Continental breakfast.
Okay.
I walk towards the buffet, that's right. And the man literally blocked me.
Are you kidding me? No, you never tell me this. Would I remember?
Where would I be seated to have my? I'm of course, I was confused, right? Yeah, I was confused, and I asked, I said, "Excuse me," and he repeated twice. And I don't know, I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know if they stopped using armband, but I had on the purple armband, which means that I was in one of the royal suites. So I guess by the time I raised my hand and he saw what I was, where I would have been staying, he apologized and directed me to the buffet.
My challenge with that continues to be a challenge I've had, and I thought it died when I stopped working in the hotels. I couldn't believe that it's still existing, that there is still among the minds of these young people who plant it in them brain. That you must differentiate our people based on your prejudice. Where you get the prejudice from? Because you're young, you're 20, 25, you're just coming at the industry. Who taught it to you?
The prejudice is in the system. The prejudice is systematic, so it is passed down from the hierarchy. So, and if you don't take the prejudice, then probably get rid of you.
But Sharon, I mean, let's face it. While it might not happen to you, there are persons where their experience is that their mother tell them that they walk is like them poopa. And then we tell them, say, you're black and ugly like your poopa.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, the child's mind pieces that together and say, okay, black equal workless.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny though, because my mother had 2 children, and both of us were raised in the same house in 2 different worlds. I had a father, my brother didn't. So somebody impregnated my mother intravenously.
Mystically.
And when it boiled down to it, if the truth was really told, my brother was of a better stock. Well, if we should really put it that way, than me, because the poor boy never come out looking like the Chinese son that he was. come out looking very black, smutty son. But I tell him all the time, look at your features. You're round like Mr. Chin. Face round, short. I mean, everything about him. Nose straight. Nobody in our family now have straight nose. And it wasn't until he had boys, the boys, them are Mr. Chin's son.
But they came a bit taller.
And but you see the Chinese, that is my point, on the sons.
But the height came from the mother after.
But the sad thing about it is that he was denied his pedigree.
Because of him look.
Because of how him come out and look. And he was treated and he was told all of that. Him not have no papa, him workplace, him da-da-da, him da-da-da. It wasn't the father's problem that way, no. It was the man stood up and said, if you take me pitney, him agree, sir, for him pitney? If you take me pitney, me done with you.
Yeah. And your mother was so spiteful that she wouldn't allow.
And so the man, remember, you know, what you don't know, Steve, back in the day, well, you know, of course, the Chinaman was king in the country shop, in commerce in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so my father, my brother was a child of the Chinaman who run the shop in the community, which evolved into the supermarket, which evolved into the complex, which evolved into the center of business in the community. And that man,
which evolved into the highway.
Yeah, that man, and he always said it, you know, him had 25 picking up to when me know. And every one of them look like him except my brother. But he took care of all 25 except my brother, so 26. So you can imagine a man having 25 children who owned all 25, but because the mother decided not to honor him by letting the child stay where he could have an input in the child's life, the child missed out. And then the mother used that and castigate the child. So he has now lived his entire life thinking that he is a fragment of who he really is. Boy, is an electrician, brilliant. Oh my God, my brother has wasted away. Not because of his lack of technical ability, but because of the emotional damage and the mental damage that was done to him growing up. And even up to today, my brother is a pot washer of foreign. This is somebody who installs ATMs in Jamaica, who work on the conveyor belts at the airport with the carousel, who do upkeep for everything electronic, who installs the buzzer, the light thingy at the banks that change, you know, to call the next person. Everything electronic. This boy was trained. He was one of the only people me know who was doing what do you call it? Correspondence course. In a 1980 little bit, he must send money a foreign, doing something that his own mother told him. Yeah, idiot, you go take a little money. The time the US was $3.85 to 1. I knew that because as a little girl, watching him go to the bank, save up him little money, go buy a bank draft, to send to the school, and them send him little box with him circuit and him thing, and me I learn electronics as well with him. Because he would pull apart everything and fix it. And the lady couldn't get past the fact, said the boy skilled. All she saw was him short and thumper and ugly and he nah no papa. And he nah come to nothing.
Sad.
While my father was in foreign, sending the little foreign thing, and I was something of substance. And it bothered me. Most people that say, oh, but you're good, you should have just sit down happy now, but me not like injustice anywhere at all.
Yeah.
So this is the Jamaica that we live in, and it's wrong by every account.
Well, I know we don't I know we don't struggle with racism. It's classism is our biggest issue.
All the time. And I've said that all the time. Color is not our problem. And you kind of wonder which is worse, but then the damage is the same.
Yeah.
So is that Jamaica's problem with sandals? Because when you go to like at a palladium, we are there waiting, and it's like it's like, oh, you're not being attended to because of how you look. And then when we get upset, the person won't give you attitude. But you can't let that sandals.
Because it back to culture. So we were talking about organizational culture. Sanders made it very clear. Well, for one thing, they might not say that, they might not lead out with it, but if you can afford to come here, you deserve to be treated like you can afford to come here. So they always tell you they're not lowering them rate to accommodate nobody. We have a market segment that we aspire towards, and that is so when
and 1 second, let me interject just to aid into your conversation. You remember Sandals is for lovers, love is all you need?
Oh yes.
So in other words, even the tagline tells you what you're saying is true. So therefore, you can't come there and say you want to tip nobody. They will not have it.
That's right.
Because love is all you need.
I like, you know, I think I like that. Don't need no tip.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not just the love of the two people in love. You, my server, you, my facilitator, you, my room attendant must love too, must love me.
Yes.
So why can't that culture be brought over? Why
it's not. It was created.
Exactly. Because you have to be deliberate about it as well.
That's the brand because
no, I'm saying it's something you have to be deliberate about. Let me tell you, restaurant of Jamaica, KFC, is not seeing the success that it has seen because it was haphazard and luck was on their side. It was a culture started from top down.
That's true.
You understand? If you notice that one of the thing about them is that they support anything community oriented. So gospel shows, if you have any kids treat and stuff like that, they give sponsorship for these type of things. It's a part of their budget.
Yeah. Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not something haphazard. They have these things in mind. And the reason they succeed so much is because the employees are at the front. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there are certain levels of uniqueness to KFC everywhere you go. So even the menu has a slight difference, right? So if I go to Canada and I go to the KFC at Jade and Finch, right? I'm gonna see a lot of spicy stuff there on that thing. I'm going to see barbecue and I'm going to see spicy stuff.
Because that's the environment. That's a Caribbean environment.
Exactly. Because round there, so is a lot of Hispanics, there's a lot of black people, especially Jamaicans, right? Jade and Finch. Let me tell you, one place if you're going to Canada, you feel like you're there at home.
Yes, man.
Right?
For sure.
So, I mean, they tailor their menu and their experiences according to the countries that they participate.
And I can jump into that because when I go to my KFC in the area, I was at Fisher Hallman. It was a German community. Yeah. And it's even if you're black, your taste buds are very elevated. So you will get a lemon based chicken. You know, them call it some fancy derivative, lemon, whatever. And you notice the taste. So yeah.
Very deliberate. Yes, is what I'm saying? That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not an accident. It's well thought through. You understand? And again, Sharon, if you remember what we were discussing about meeting your customers where they are, same story. Yeah. Good talk, guys. Good talk.